the smaller speed times for ages.
That's okay with me.
Are we ready?
Yep.
Okay. Welcome to the June 9th, 2025 Spearfish School Board meeting. And please join me in saying the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First order of business is to approve the agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve it.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. It has been approved. There is no scheduled or unscheduled audience, and so at this point, we will go to school reports. From you?
None?
Yeah.
None.
No? None? Okay, no conflict of interest, so we'll go to informational items from the superintendent.
Yeah, just, I guess a few here, more reminders than anything. Tomorrow night, the South Dakota Parent Connection, Dr. Carla Miller will be here to present on special education services. I've asked a few of the parents, the folks that met or spoke to the board last meeting or the meeting before, asked them to help promote it, and I sent an email out to all the parents, so hopefully we have a good crowd, but we'll see. But it's tomorrow night at the high school auditorium at 6 p.m. The SASD, Associated School Boards Joint Convention, August 7th and 8th in Sioux Falls. If you are interested in going, let Jill know so she can make motel reservations sooner than later and get us registered. But most importantly is getting the reservations, so let her know ASAP if you want to go. And then just a little bit, the domestic water project at the high school, SECO didn't waste any time. As soon as school got out, they had people in there themselves and the subs in there demoing and getting ready. So they're hard at it and should be done by the time school starts. All I have.
Okay. Then moving on to action items. If there's anything on it that you wish to remove, you may.
That's for consent.
Oh. I thought that was the other. It's
No.
not, huh?
Action items, each
Oh,
single
action
one.
items, that's for, you're right. Got ahead of myself. Ryan wanted a fast meeting.
It's my fault. Everything turned into a consent?
Okay,
One
so-
motion to cover it.
Yeah, one motion will cover
Okay. A, final budget hearing and recommendation for the adoption as a resolution to approve the school district budget for the 2025-26 school year. And Craig, did you have anything you wanted to say at first?
I do. We have one change to our recommendation, and we discussed at the May board meeting of doing, increasing the special education levy slightly. We're increasing it 2 cents, which doesn't seem like an awful lot, but that does generate us roughly $30,000 in revenue. So we will not be into the fund balance going forward. 37,000. It'll be closer to 6,000. So we're going to recommend $1.210 per thousand for special education. The state maximum is 1.462, so we're 25 cents still below the state maximum. To us, that's revenue that we're not going to collect of approximately $759,000. So gives taxpayers a little bit of a break, property taxes, and still hopefully generates enough revenue that we can handle it through special education. Other than that, the expenditures and revenues you can see on the Word document, and then the levies and dollar amount for capital outlay are listed below. That's what we would recommend for consideration.
Move to approve as presented.
I'll second it.
Craig, are you ready to take the vote on that?
Yes, Ellen?
Yes.
Ryan?
Yes.
Eric?
Yes.
Nathan?
Yes.
Alicia? Yes. Thank you.
Okay. Moving on to B, consider admission activity ticket rates for the school activities for 2025 and 2026. Student single, 1 grades K through 12 will be $4. That's a $1 increase. Adult single is $6. It's a $1 increase. Student activity ticket is $30, a $5 increase. Senior citizens activity ticket is a $5 no increase. Adult activity pass is $80, a $5 increase. 2 adult activity tickets, $135, $10 increase. Family pass, 2 adults with 2 or more students, is $185, which is a $10 increase. Any questions on this at all?
So on the amplification where I put the different options there, it really deals with this as well as the next action item with the bound agreement. So I have 3 different options there of going with the Bound Pro cashless, but only using the cash and check only, so we wouldn't have the cashless option per se, but we'd have all the other benefits of the bound agreement that Mr. Wademan and even in the middle school that they need for scheduling and collecting physicals, all the paperwork and all that type of stuff and so on. So anyway, with that, we would pay the $3,800 in the fee for the annually for the subscription. The second one is Bound Pro Cashless. District absorbs a fee, so with the same thing, we'd pay the $3,800, but then we would also have about 10 grand in fees that we would need to pay. So roughly 14,000. Or the third one is we'd have again all the benefits of the Bound Pro Cashless to include the cashless ticket option, but we increase the activity tickets and single game tickets by what was just mentioned to cover all the fees and the costs, so it'd be free to the district. The only other thing I would add is I'm in my 9th year here. We have not increased activity tickets or single game tickets at all in the last 9 years. So increasing it roughly, the single game tickets by $1 and activity tickets by roughly $5. I don't think it's a huge increase, and again, we haven't increased in the last, at least the last 9 years. So my recommendation would be increasing the activity ticket, single game ticket prices to offset all the fees.
Is there a motion?
Move to approve.
Second.
Any more discussion? Okay. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. The activity ticket has passed. Okay, then going on to C, to consider the agreement with Bound. May I have a motion on?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yep.
May I have a motion on that?
I'll make a motion to approve it.
Second.
Okay.
But in this, do we need to clarify which option we're using, or are we just taking it that the option that's in here is the cashless pro that doesn't cost us anything?
Yeah, we'll go with the cashless pro and the agreement's in there to set up the fees and everything.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so I think maybe the motion
I didn't know
does
if the
need it.
motion, then we needed to say that.
I think it does, because of it.
Oh, you want it to say option C?
Yeah.
So just, I make a motion to approve, the agreement with Bound with option 3.
I'll keep my second.
Okay. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. It has passed. Okay, we're going on to D, consider Mammoth's facility design agreement. Do I have a motion on that?
Motion to approve as presented.
Second.
Okay, discussion on that.
Yeah, so to explain this a little bit more, so the design agreement you see in there is for a certain, my apologies, I can't remember off the top of my head. The design services fees were 70, are they 76?
It was, I was trying to.
I'm sorry, 96, not 76. So that's in Exhibit A. So Exhibit A is just for the design services for the renovation. And again, it is what we decide. If it's just the track, that's what they'll design. If it is the track and the field, that's what they'll design. If it's track, field, drainage, that's what they'll put into it. So, again, the Exhibit A that they're asking for us to approve tonight is $96,000 for that design services, $24,000 if we want them to design the drainage. So the drainage that goes on the east side between that and the parking lot, if we're gonna invest in a new track and track facility, we need to protect it, so we need to improve that drainage. I think $24,000 is probably a deal for them to design that. So my recommendation would be to go with both. So that's Exhibit A. Exhibit B is for them to carry out the work. When I talked to Derek, I said, well, why at this time would we need to do Exhibit B? Their design services and engineering and all of that, that's wrapped into that $96,000, if we did not plan to utilize them for the construction, that fee would be a lot more than the $96,000. Same if we went with another engineer somewhere and we asked them to come in and design something for us and take it out to bid per se, it would cost, that design service would cost a lot more. So that's why he is asking that we do, doesn't mean we have to go through with it, with actually the construction part of it. But if we do, this agreement says we're working with them. The way we are able to do that is they're part of, and so are we, a part of a cooperative purchasing agreement. So all of their services, that all of the materials are already bid out through a cooperative, and we're a member of this cooperative. So we don't have to take things out to bid. That's already been done through this cooperative. So what I'm asking and what I'm recommending tonight is for the board to approve the agreement and Exhibit A and Exhibit B to move forward with Mammoth for design services, as well as, if we move forward with construction, to utilize Mammoth. As of right now, our last estimate for the track was roughly $1.4 million. That includes a sidewalk and a fence around the track, nothing with the field. Roughly another $1 million to put the turf in the middle, all the drainage that's associated with the artificial turf and so on. And then if you look at this right here, there's some ads. And it kind of breaks down the scope of work, but there's some ads. So the 545 seat bleacher system with a 30-foot press box, concrete underneath the bleachers, all that type of stuff is another $750,000, and then the sports lighting, if we wanted to light it, is another $310,000. That's how they come out to about an estimation of $3.2 million. Again, it's an estimation. Again, the scope of work has not been decided. At some point, we'll make a recommendation, the facility committee, based on our work with Mammoth, to say, hey, we think we ought to do this, this, and this, and they will put a better cost estimate together, and then we'll have a do not exceed price, a guaranteed maximum price for us.
So in that agreement, the 3.2 is kind of all of this stuff for right now?
Yeah, a little bit. Now, the lighting, obviously at 2.4 there, and to go to 3.2 is only $800,000.
Yeah.
That's because the lighting is considered an alternate at this point.
Okay.
But even the 545 seat bleachers and the press box, you know, we can tweak that, maybe do our own press box, and the press boxes are roughly $300,000-400,000. So we can reduce the price overall. We just have to determine what the scope is going to be. But on the ad side of this, if we had them design the drainage system, we might roll the actual work for the drainage system or the drainage ditch into the work or into the contract as well. So that might be an add to the contract. So right now, again, just to reiterate, the agreement is to utilize Mammoth for the design services, and then Exhibit B is to move forward. If we move forward with actual construction, we are utilizing them. And another, I guess, piece of information that's important to know, if we don't move forward, then certainly we're still on the hook for at least the $96,000 and the $24,000 if we use them for the drainage ditch. But if we do utilize them, that is part of the contract. I mean, it's already, the design services are already part of it. So we're not paying an additional 96,000 or the additional 24,000. That will be built into that guaranteed maximum price.
And maybe for the, I don't know if it's, would it be worth it, Craig, so for the people that aren't on the facilities committee to maybe just give a summary of financially how you look at this?
So what we did with Kirk and Ryan and Nathan and I, we went through our capital outlay projections that we have, and we typically keep a running 5-year total. Obviously, it's updated every year. We use the audited information, we use the budgeted information for revenues and expenditures. We have the expenditures itemized all the way down to principals, discretionary amounts, curriculum adoption, technology purchases, everything that transpires throughout the course of a cycle, whether it's includes a laptop or vehicle purchases, it kind of goes on and on and on. It has debt service in there. We have all of the costs, if you will, on an annual basis, and then we included also 1.6 million for summer projects. We didn't take anything out when we built these projections, but we included the track and the football field and utilized $3 million for that. Certainly, we don't know what the entire board is going to look at doing there, but just for simplicity's sake, in subsequent fiscal years, we used 1.5 million. And then we roll it out, see what we have for a fund balance at every one of those years going down the list. We are upside down for the 2 years, upside down meaning expenditures exceed revenues for those 2 years that would take us to complete this project if we utilize $3 million as our target. But so shortly after that, it starts to accelerate again, even with our laptop purchases at 1.2 million and all the other expenditures going down through there, we start increasing our fund balance shortly after that. So yes, expenditures will exceed revenues for those 2 years, but before then, like they are now, and afterwards, we're going to add to our fund balance because revenues will be exceeding expenditures. Granted, there are a multitude of projections that go in there. We looked at the way the statute reads right now. Capital outlay grows at 3% plus new growth to the school district. The last couple of years, it's been 2.3 and 2.7%. So it grows at that, 5.2, 5.7% has been our growth in capital outlay as far as revenue coming from the county, the local effort that we see there. So it does flow through there pretty nicely. Obviously, $3 million is a lot of money, but it's doable as far as our projections go, working through our 5-year plan in capital outlay.
I can make a motion. I'll make the motion to approve.
I think it was already done.
Yeah,
Motion and a second.
yeah, it's already done. Yeah.
Just trying to get
No.
on some of the action.
Yeah.
items.
Excited to make.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Okay.
the explanation was too long.
She forgot what happened. You
Where am I?
forwarded her.
Where am I?
Craig started talking and Alicia
Gotta go to
walked out a second.
softball.
Okay. So.
Let's go.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. It has passed. We're going on to E, and we'll get there fast.
Okay, boom.
Okay. E is the South Dakota High School Association East River at-large representative runoff election. And we have both 2 people, Brittany Idy, a secondary principal at Corsica Stickney, and Ryan Rollinger, secondary principal at Harrisburg.
I move that we vote for Ryan Rollinger.
I'll second it.
Okay. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Okay, now we're on to the consent agenda. If there's anything you want to remove, it's okay.
Move to approve consent agenda as presented.
Second.
I'd like to add just a couple of things, or Chet, briefly. about a couple of things. Just the addition of a girls wrestling coach. Again, the program's growing, and we only have one assistant coach at this time. We would prefer to have two, much like the boys program. And if at all possible, we'd like to have a female coach in there. Just it helps for room checks and stuff when we're out of town, and locker rooms and things like that. So that's the nexus for wanting to add an assistant. Second one is the surplus. The most current surplus list that you see, if you go to the attachment, has grown. So it has grown to some of the things that we have in storage, classroom things like tables and desks and chairs. We actually have a rock climbing wall from a playground. We have some commercial kitchen equipment, like a giant mixing bowl, some serving tables, if you will, some things like that. And then we added 2 storage sheds. So the ones that are right immediately on the north side of the old welding shop. There's those 2 there. We would like to get rid of those. So we added those from when Jill sent it out on Thursday. We added those additional items. What we hope to do is partner with the city, and we've already kind of got a blessing. We just got to work it out with McPherson Online Auction. The city is doing that. It's going to be launched, I think, July 1st, and we want to be able to partner with the city and McPherson to have our stuff listed online as well, to hopefully get rid of some of this stuff. So that's our plan.
I don't see the listing of the rock climbing one. Is that, are you planning to
That's
put
the
that in there?
miscellaneous classroom.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we did itemize.
We didn't itemize it. There are so many different things.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay, okay, that's just what I was wondering. Okay. Well, any questions? Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Okay, that has passed. So we're now on to discussion. 2A, first reading of the 2025 through 2030 strategic plan attachment.
So it hasn't changed, other than the format has changed a little bit, and it will continue to change prior to final approval. Again, just the format, not the content of it. Lana and I actually had a meeting today with Shannon Vogler, who you heard from last meeting on Zoom. We had an in-person meeting today talking about our direction and our improvement, school improvement plans moving forward, and I think we're pretty well in alignment with what they are suggesting. So, you know, my recommendation is that we move forward, and she actually said, wow, you guys are really moving. That's good. So we went from a review in March to a new strategic plan. So, Lana, anything you would like to add from that meeting?
No, I don't think I have
Okay.
Any questions? Okay, then we'll move on to B, first reading for revision update to distribution of flyers advertising non-school organization activities. Policy 1800/4910.
Yeah, I guess the only thing I would add, we talked a little bit about this at the retreat. It is essentially providing an online community bulletin board on our website. So if somebody comes in, let's say it's a Spearfish City rec department, and they want to advertise a youth camp at the rec league, or summer roller skating, or whatever it might be, or maybe it's a church and vacation Bible school or something like that, we'll have this community bulletin board. Still has to go through the process to be approved, still has the same litmus test, certain things that we allow and don't allow, but we would put it on this community bulletin board so people could log on and see what's going on, so they'd be able to post their flyers. Now, while our general rule would be we'd get rid of disseminating or sending home the flyers, it is still possible. The principals still have the discretion to send flyers home with students. But our general rule will be try to put everything on the community bulletin board if at all possible. So, we won't email parents flyers. So we get asked occasionally to send an email to all parents with a flyer or some type of information. We reserve emails to parents for school-related items. So again, this is just first reading.
Any questions?
If I can add one thing, our current policy, 1800 on this, has something about political signs and so on. But only students that are running for high school student body president or student council or something like that could display signs. And then it just says any other political activity and stuff is not authorized on school grounds unless, again, if it's maybe it's a city or school election held on school grounds. But that's all covered in a separate policy, so that's not part of the new revised policy. That's covered under a different policy, so.
Okay. Okay, then we'll move on to minutes. And can I have a motion on both A and B with both the May 12th, 2025 and the May 19th, 2025, unless there's a correction?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Okay, the minutes have passed. Moving on to financial reports and bills. And all of them there, the A, B, and C. May I have a motion on that?
Make a motion to approve them as presented.
Second.
Any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. They've passed. May I have something on the adjournment?
Do adjourn.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign.
I was waiting for you. I feel like I'm talking it and I'm trying to throw out stuff.